You found yourself on another episode of Locked On Bulls. On today's episode, me and Pat are going to discuss and ask the question, should Dennis Rodman's number be retired by the Chicago Bulls? We're also going to answer was Noah Lyles actually right about Team USA, or the NBA, we should say? And then lastly, we're going to ask the question, should Alex Caruso have been included in the top 100? We're going to get to all that and more right after this.
You are Locked On Bulls, your daily podcast on the Chicago Bulls, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to another episode of Locked On Bulls, member of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. That's Pat the Designer, host and creator of the Windy City Breeze and host of the Chicago Bears podcast over at ESPN 1000. I'm Haize, host and creator of Chicago Bulls and Chicago Bears Central. And today's episode is brought to you by Birddogs. Go to birddogs.com/LockedOnNBA or enter promo code LockedOnNBA for a free water bottle with any purchase. You won't want to take your Bird Dogs off. We promise you. Hey, man, brain just went blank, bro. Like, it was like, hey, man, what happened? Restart, bro. My brain got caught in the middle of a restart, man. Hey, it is what it is. You know how you get those window updates as soon as you're working on something, and it'd be like computer shutting down. Update.
That's a 4%. Whole. Wasn't that was a part of, like, they had a parody movie, and it was supposed to be like they were saving Earth, and Microsoft went through an update right in the middle of it. But it was just like, it was like, we have 2 hours until Microsoft resets. Dang it, Microsoft.
That's crazy, bro. but accurate. Let's get into the topics, man. Dennis Rodman was back in Chicago. I think it said for the first time in 13. It's been 13 years. Was Dennis not here the year that the All-Star game was in Chicago?
I think what happened, he's saying it's the first time he's been back in the United Center.
That makes more sense. That makes more sense.
But I guess that would say that, yeah, Dennis Rodman didn't come to the All-Star game.
Yeah, he was there with AEW Wrestling for one of their pay-per-views, and in this, he did talk about how he would like to see his jersey retired and hanging up there with Pippen and Jordan. Is like, I know played only a very small window for the Chicago Bulls, but in that time, won 3 titles. What do you think about that? Does Dennis Rodman stand the chance of getting his jersey retired by the Chicago Bulls?
I think here's the thing. And normally I would say no because of the length of years, right? But the success speaks for itself. But realistically, the main thing is when you think of Dennis Rodman, what jersey do you think of him in?
I'm a
think
Bulls
of him
fan,
Bulls?
So
Yeah. You know what I mean? That means that he ingratiated himself so much in his time here in Chicago that's where you think. I mean, I really do. Like, I'm sure maybe people in Detroit pull up Pistons, right? Because that's the image that you've seen of him. But I think for most people in the world, you don't think of Dennis Rodman being a part of the Bad Boys Pistons because he wasn't. While he was great on there, right? He was more of the
complimentary.
Yeah, like a complimentary. I don't want to say that either because he was a very instrumental piece in them winning championships.
Yeah,
but he was like who's a good name, like a Harrison Barnes almost on that team. That feels bad, disrespectful, but it's kind of in the right. Or Andrew Wiggins on the last Warriors championship team, right? Where you looked at what he did and you was like, hey, we probably don't win this championship if you're not doing what you do. But he wasn't the main focal point that you were talking about all season. But the Chicago Bulls, he was. Dennis Rodman was a storyline in this month.
Yeah.
Dennis was doing all kind of stuff. He was marrying himself, doggone, had the hair going, everything. You know what I mean? Like, it was a crazy time. You said what?
And Carmen Electra.
And himself and Carmen Electra. That's an impressive feat, actually.
That's an impressive feat there, brother.
That's what I call a threesome. Anyway, but what I'm saying is that I just feel that, you know, because of how instrumental he was in Bulls history, especially on those last 3 championships, I do think that the number 91 should be retired. But I can't sit here and tell you that I couldn't entertain an argument for why it shouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely understand, but I think the titles, because keep in mind, it's the Basketball Hall of Fame. Well, we're not talking about that. We're talking about just what he did with the Chicago Bulls, which
this is just
even
his
more
number
important.
in the rafters.
Yeah, so 3 titles here in Chicago, Never became an all-star here in Chicago though, but he did. He won the rebounding title every single year he was here in Chicago. He was all defensive first team one of the years he was here in Chicago as well. And overall, keep in mind when you retire a player's number just within that organization, it's just the impact that they had for your team, and he was influential in winning 3 titles in a row.
Hey, I feel like this might go back to the Andre Drummond argument on will he make the Hall of Fame just off of rebounds. Dennis Rodman a very key candidate for that.
Well, Dennis Rodman is in the Hall of Fame.
Exactly.
but
now, championships with that as well.
Championships
very
definitely
different.
matter.
Very different.
A 5-time champion.
But when you look at his rebounding numbers, bro, it's insane.
Oh yeah, he had a year of averaging 18 rebounds per game, bro. That's not in the Bulls. I think that was with the Pistons, but that's crazy,
bro. With the Bulls, he averaged 14.9, 15 rebounds, 16 rebounds, 15 rebounds in his 3 years here. That's insane. Yeah. That's insane, bro. And was an elite defender. I mean, I think you got to throw his name up there. Here's the thing, too. He's a major part of the story.
Yeah,
they probably don't three-peat again. They might win again, but they probably don't three-peat again without Dennis Rodman being added to that team. He's a major part of the story. He was a major contributor when Scottie Pippen went out due to injury. He was a major contributor as far as the rebounding game and as far as somebody who could defend 1 through 5, basically. I mean, like he was elite at what he did. And so for me, yeah, I'm saying you got to put Dennis Rodman in the rafters because of everything else that he did. But like I said, man, like when you Google Dennis Rodman, he don't pop up in a Pistons jersey.
That's a good point. That's a good point. And his number is retired by the Pistons, which he definitely deserves there for the time that he put in. But, I mean, here's the thing. We haven't seen the Bulls retire a jersey in a long time. When you look at the candidates who have not had their jerseys retired yet, is Rodman where do you place Rodman on the list? Because you got to look at some notable names that come to mind. Of course, Noah, Rose, Rodman come to mind as well. Of course,
Rodman should have been done though. Who's wearing 91?
Let's see.
It's not like I'm taking away that number. And Dennis Rodman wore it. I better be coming in average it. Like if Andre Drummond said I want to wear 91, I'd allow it. This is the only person. Like the greatest rebounder down to the next greatest rebounder. Like, okay, I bet.
Dennis Rodman is the only person that ever wore 91 for the Chicago. Retire the number.
Retire it. Like nobody's wearing it. Like at this point, like it's not even right. Here's the thing. It's not even a situation where, right, like Derrick Rose, right? Like I wish somebody, like we've seen the reports, right? Nobody told Michael Carter Williams 1 wasn't available. Wasn't that him? When he showed up here and Bulls fans ripped him apart. And he was like, my bad, y'all. Like, didn't nobody tell me? Like, first off, how you not telling somebody? But like, bro, like number one, like nobody's gonna wear this number. That's Chicago's son.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to put this on. Retire that number. No one's going to wear 91. The one guy that I'd be okay with wearing it is on the team right now. He's wearing 3. As far away from 91 as you can get. Retire the number. What are we waiting on here?
Yeah. I mean, listen,
we're waiting on Chris Getz to win a World Series. That's what we're waiting on. That's
Bro, don't even get me started, bro. Like I'm trying to come in here with the proper energy, bro. I'm so the Sox whole situation just frustrates me more and more every day that goes by.
Hey man, listen, it's all about you got to go with what you feel in your gut, man. That's all I say.
That's what Mariah Mills did, and you saw how that got her.
I was going with the lady that shot herself. You went to Mariah Mills. All right, okay. Okay, this is why I tried to lead him down the right path, y'all. I swear I did. I swear
either path was death and destruction. Like, what do you mean? What like you act like one path was holy? Like, what are we talking about?
There was a split road, and neither one of them was good.
Yeah, neither one of them was good. It all leads back to the same place, which is calamity. Who gets the number retired first? Dennis Rodman or Derrick Rose?
I want to say Dennis because of the time, but like, how long Jordan and Pippen number been retired?
God, over a decade at this point,
bro. Like, what are we waiting on here? Like, I guess I gotta go Derrick Rose realistically, but maybe because Rodman brought it up, now it'll be looked
a storyline.
Maybe now it'll be looked at, it'll be a storyline. And I ain't gonna lie to you. If I could have an ambassador for anything, I love Joe, but we can't get Dennis in here as an ambassador too.
The problem is you probably could, but then you got to be worried also about what else Dennis may do. I think that's the reason you haven't seen.
I think that's why I'm paying him.
Well, see, and there that is why Jerry Reinsdorf owns the team instead of Pat Moranzoni. Like, there's a big difference in that.
That's why I'm paying them.
Yeah.
Well, you saw Dennis doing what? Cocaine in the bathroom? I can't believe it. Then Dennis more cocaine.
That's funny. Next up, we're going to be asking the question if Noah Lyles was actually right after Team USA gets completely demolished in a game morally more than anything. But before we do that, I got to talk to you guys about Birddogs. Birddogs make you look good because Birddogs stretch khaki shorts are designed to fit slimmer through the thigh and leg, giving you a truly sculpted look. Birddog shorts do the same thing as Lululemon, but fit way better. They fit way better than regular shorts that are made of stiff, restricting cotton. Birddogs fixed this issue by inventing cloud knit fabric that looks just like khaki but stretches so you get a way slimmer fit without having to sacrifice movement. Birddog uses anti-stick sweat wicking fabric that keeps you cool and dry all day long. Birddogs are functional for any occasion. Go to birddogs.com/lockedon or enter promo code LOCKEDONNBA at checkout for free Birddogs bottle with your order. That's birddogs.com/LockedOnNBA for a free water bottle at checkout. You won't want to take your Birddogs off? We promise you. All right, Pat. Noah Lyles, man. Me and you came on here. We talked about the merits. I think we both kind of settled on. I think we're actually on opposite sides of that when it was all said and done. But then Team USA goes out and looks like little kids playing against Lithuania, bro. Like, they couldn't get a rebound, bro. Like, to save their life, much less stop anything in the paint. It was ugly. So was Noah Lyles right?
Noah Lyles is right, and he's not right in the sense that another team, if we sent our best, right, because the rest of the world is sending their best.
Mm-hmm.
We sent Bobby Portis. Right? He's not right in the sense that another team would be able to come in and claim world champion over the U.S. if the U.S. sends its best, but that's not the point he was making. Mm-hmm. And I think Stephen A. Smith brought this point out. I already see the comments coming out, but it was a good point. It made me change my opinion on it because I was very much like, the best players in the world come to America. So you're getting the best from the world, and American players are a big reason in why the NBA is successful, all that blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. But the same thing happens for the EPL. And we never call Manchester United the world champion. So I will back off of my point of that he's wrong about a world champion being because the U.S. has the best league and has the best players, that team is the world champion. But I won't back off of my point that America's best is still better than everybody's best by a mile. If I put the 5 best Americans in the world together, you're probably not going to beat us in basketball. But it's also, I mean, America's light years ahead of the rest of the world in this sport, right? Everybody doesn't play basketball. The rest of the world's best athletes play soccer. That's why you look at a league like the EPL, like La Liga, like the Bundesliga, stuff like that, and you sit there and go, oh, yeah, well, like, what if that 6'5" guy was playing basketball instead of soccer?
And that's how we got Cristiano Felicio.
Also, how we got Joel Embiid, though.
Okay. Facts,
Joel Embiid was a goalie. Yeah, I mean, we went opposite ends of the spectrum.
Touche.
MVP.
I mean, and they both got paid. So shout out to that. But no, the comparison you make with the EPL is definitely, I understand. I mean, you've had this talk off air. I still look at it a little bit different when it comes to the NBA because it is such a worldwide like representation, and how the champions have usually players that are international on it, whereas in the EPL, you're not going to find very many Americans over there, but it is because we suck at soccer.
It's because we suck, right? Yeah, like that's the toughest part, right?
Yeah.
Like if Tim Howard played in the EPL, we'd have been like, oh, cool. If the rest of the America played in the EPL, we'd be like, that's not good. You shouldn't. What you doing there?
You about to get embarrassed, bro. You about to get embarrassed. But I mean, overall, I still more so understand, and still sticking with my original position, as I understand why the NBA champions are looked at as the world champions. That's just how my opinion on it is. I think we're still an international league. But with that said, when your team, the team that's representing your country, because that is what it is at this point. Yes, we didn't send our best over there, but when they lose to Lithuania, and the manner in which they did too, bro. Like, I know they had a little bit of a brief comeback in the fourth where they looked like they were going to make it interesting, but let's be real. Yeah. That game was over with since about 2 minutes in the third quarter.
Yeah. It wasn't competitive, and it showed the difference in, how America's style of basketball is shifting versus the rest of the world. The rest of the world, while they do have big men that can shoot, still want big men that are big men.
Yeah.
Nikola Jokic can shoot. You're still not going to dominate him in the post. I mean, like, he's huge. He's still 290 pounds.
Yeah. I mean, that's a great point, because, everybody, we go to this positionless basketball, which is great, right? And, Emil Mieseman over in the WNBA put it the best that I've ever heard it put. She's like, well, we don't work on things and just say, oh, that you're a guard, you only work on that. Everybody works on everything over in foreign countries. And I think that's what you want to get to with positionless basketball. You want all five people to be able to do a little bit of everything: dribble, shoot, all that type of thing, defend. But it's now gone from that to like, oh, so that we can have five players on the court can do all that. Billy Donovan's running Nate Robinson as your starting center. Like, that's the type of thing that we're starting to see.
I think that's the thing too, right? Like, I think the opposite way of that. I think we just don't build our big men in this manner anymore. We don't respect the big men that come in because there's no training program for that anymore. But let's be real with you, right? If you're shooting big, but on the other end, you got to guard Shaq all night, you're not going to be able to shoot. Like, can Shaq guard you? Probably not, but you're going to be exhausted. And that's the part where I think the NBA, very much like every sport, right? When you're trying to change something to the other one, I think we overcorrected too far because we just don't play the big men or have a training regimen for the big men who would be the Shaqs or, the Andre Drummonds or whoever, those dominant bigs back in the day when it was more of a, we're going to play down in a post type of league where, listen, all night you had to sit there and try and stop Shaq. And then I got to go down on the other end and shoot a 35-foot jump shot. Yeah, all right. Like, I think the overcorrection of like, I want skinny. I want Chet Holmgren. Chet Holmgren's a center. Chet Holmgren would not have a good game versus Shaq. And it's not because he's not skilled. It's not because he wouldn't be able to dribble past him. It's not because he wouldn't be able to shoot over him. It's going to be because I got to guard you on the other end. And I'm the only person out here that's 7 foot. Now, Shaq is the extreme because of how dominant he is, but I think the overcorrection is something where the NBA, right, you saw it play out here. Guess what? Jonas Valanciunas ain't small. And he dominated you. And your best big was Bobby Portis.
Hey, listen. Jonas Valanciunas made several of the bigs on Team USA look like little kids out there, bro.
But I mean, it's just like, who are the bigs? Like, you look at our biggest players, and it's just like they say Bobby Portis 6'10", maybe. But I feel like it's an exaggerated 16.
No, I think Bobby Portis is actually. I think he's doing that Joakim Noah thing. I think he's a little bit taller than what his listed height is.
You think?
I've seen him in person once, bro, and like Bobby Portis is a tall brother, bro.
But I feel like he's still a lot shorter than Giannis.
I mean, yeah, but Giannis is what listed as 7'1". Am I
just listed at? I think Giannis is listed at 6'11".
Really? Oh yeah. See, I don't, bro. Some of these people be capping one way or another. They're like, Giannis, I get. I don't know, bro. Maybe I don't know, man.
Like, how tall are they listing Giannis here? Let me look.
Giannis, I think they do list at 6'11".
Because I don't think they count him as a 7 foot though. Hey, you tall when they list you, or you large when they list your wingspan. Man, I got a 7'3" wingspan. So Giannis is listed at 6'11". I think Bobby Portis like 6'9". But I think he came in. I'm looking at this
picture here, and they're the same. They're damn near the same height, bro. But then again, there goes another one where they don't look.
You know what I mean? Like, what's going on with the optical illusions and the angles here? You know what I'm saying? Like, but I mean, hey, listen, worst case scenario, Bobby Portis ain't the best big you can send. And I think that's the problem, right? You think about it, who's the best American big you can send? It really is Andre Drummond. It really is.
All around game.
I'm talking about like to send to this, like that could have competed in that Lithuania game with size, and ability to get up and down the court, ability to defend. Like it's Andre Drummond. Like who's a better American big? Paolo's not American, right? I'm not tweaking on that. Paolo's not American.
He is. He's on Team USA.
Oh, Paolo is American. I'm tweaking. Yeah, I am tweaking on that. I'm tweaking.
Oh, like, wait a second. Are you accusing us of cheating?
No, I thought because Paolo's mixed, I think. Right? Ain't he mixed with something else and he chose to play for Team USA?
Bro,
like
no
he could have done
bro.
a duel.
I didn't get that. A duel? But I mean, listen, bro, like, let's not act like Jaren Jackson Jr. should be performing better than what he's performing.
Jaren Jackson Jr. played like Jaren Jackson Jr. plays every time we see him play.
Bro, like, you talk about size, like that dude's 250 pounds almost, bro. Like he should have the size to defend better than what he did. I'm not saying he should be locking people down, but he should be performing better, bro.
But he averaged 5 fouls a game versus regular
This is true.
dudes.
Yeah, this is true.
Like he didn't do anything different. That's what I'm saying. Like when I look at the best big, okay, Jaren Jackson Jr. is probably the best American big we could have sent.
Walker Kessler.
I mean,
seriously though, but you're looking at it too is the fact of just the sense of size. Like I think that I still think Team USA, if they play Lithuania 5 times, they're winning 4 out of 5 usually. Like they're like the size mismatch for Team USA against most teams isn't this great thing to where all of a sudden now we need to be looking at sending Andre Drummonds. Like we still have talent there, but that matchup on that day just didn't work out for him. I feel like we were talking about this with the Olympics. We were talking about this with, right? Like, remember they sent over Kevin Durant and all them us, and it was just like, hey man, we getting dominated on the boards out here. Like, y'all gonna grab a rebound? Like, it's the same conversation. And so to me, but it also goes back to the fundamental thing that me and you talk about as well, because in the United States now, we're not teaching people to follow their shots anymore. And we're seeing a lot of that as well in Team USA. I'm not saying that that's the only size is still the biggest issue, but like we're seeing those things that we've gotten away from teaching. So now as the younger people are coming in, taking over the Olympics and Team USA, we're seeing some of those fundamentals that aren't taught regularly anymore start biting us in our butts.
I think it also just speaks to what the USA is too, right? Like we're not sending our best for FIBA.
Yeah.
We're sending our best maybe for the Olympics.
It'll be different next year.
But we're not sending our best for FIBA. And I think that's the thing too. Like the United States doesn't look at playing for your country like it looks at playing for the NBA.
Yeah.
It just doesn't.
Yeah,
like we see Patty Mills go off every Olympics. He'll never do this in the league.
Yeah. Look at Carleek Jones. Look at what Carleek's doing over there.
Carleek might be getting some playing time. Yeah, you know, Billy Donovan and AK is watching this. They like, oh, maybe he will make the roster. We need another guard, don't we?
I can see right now. Bet this is what we're gonna run. We're gonna run Javon Carter at the 1, Carleek Jones at the 2. Alex Caruso is gonna be the 4. No, Alex Caruso is still the 4. I would assume is gonna be the 3, and then we're gonna go ahead and bring in Yogo dos Santos back. He's gonna be our starting 5. That's the future.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised by it, bro.
Shout out to Billy Donovan. Shout out to Billy Donovan. But we want to remind you guys, Locked On Bulls is free and available on every podcasting app and platform of your choice, as well as YouTube and the Odyssey app. Now, with that said, Pat, let's get into the last topic. Alex Caruso is a player that I think that people, if you don't watch the game of basketball, you don't always understand the way that he impacts the game positively and impacts winning. We're not even as good as we are without Alex Caruso, in my opinion. But with that said, there was an interesting article that came out. Me and you talked about the top 100 articles and things like that. But there was one that came out. This one's from Pimpin' Ain't Easy. And they asked the question, should Alex Caruso actually have been on that top 100 list? And one of the things that they used to make this argument is that Alex Caruso was the only player that was all team first or second defense that didn't make the list of top 100 players.
I think it's the fact that you can make the argument that Alex Caruso is the best guard defender in the NBA.
Yeah.
Like it's like metrics wise, it speaks to it. I mean, what you see on the court, it speaks to it. And more times than not, we got him guarding a freaking power forward here in this system. And I think legitimately, Alex Caruso is the best what is he, a 2 guard? I don't know what we quantify him
He's
as.
just a guard, bro. He's
just the best guard defender that we've got in the league right now. It makes no sense that he wasn't on the list. I think he was on the list the year before, which is even more confusing because like he didn't get worse as a defender. Technically, by most of the metrics, he got better. The Bulls defense was top 5 in the NBA. Now take that with a grain of salt because right, we all know how that went. Right, top 5 first half, bottom 5 second half. Basically, is what I saw on the court. But I thought it was confusing when I saw this list without him because when I first looked at the list, I looked at the list from the year before, and it seems like all that they did with all the Bulls was just like, we're going to move everybody down 18 spots. And so that basically put Alex Caruso off the list.
Yeah. I mean, and then when you look at like Dylan Brooks also was all defensive second team. He didn't officially make the list, but he did get an honorable mention. Alex Caruso didn't even get that. I love your point that Alex Caruso is one of if not the best guard defenders in the NBA. The only other person I'd put up there with him, and then I think the metrics support as well is Drew Holiday.
And I mean, listen, I watched Alex Caruso guard Jimmy Butler a heck of a lot better than Drew Holiday did.
Bro, you said that. You can say that again, man. I knew Drew Holiday was going to be the deciding factor in trying to shut that down. And that Drew looked mighty pedestrian, bro.
Hey, what was it? He was what did he end up being, bro? Was it 109 points on his top in 2 games, bro?
Yeah, something like that.
It's not pretty. It's not pretty. But I just, I think the thing about Caruso is too, right? Like, of course, we're going to be a lot more. We're going to side with him a lot more when it comes to, what his game is and what we see on a night in, night out basis. A lot of people aren't going to see that. But when you see what this guy does defensively to change a game, it's hard to say that he's not on this list. Like it makes no, and he's not a sexy pick, right? Why? Because he's a 6-man. Right? You don't think he a 6-man is your best defender. You think your 6-man is your quick offense off of the bench. Yeah. Realistically, he's our 6-man, and he's the guy that we call on when we need the most defense, when we need the most intensity, most pressure. You saw what him, Pat Bev, and P. Will were able to do together. He was a major catalyst of that. I think coming into this season, right, you'll see that with Javon Carter on the floor as well. You're going to have some dogs on this team defensively. And listen, at the end of the day, the one thing I'm not worried about with this Bulls team is defense. The thing that I'm worried about most is being able to score more points. Knocking down more threes. Alex Caruso is everybody was so quick to say, I'm ready to get rid of Alex Caruso. He's okay if we trade him away because he's not putting up 10, 15, 20 points a game.
His impact is not easily identifiable by the box score, and thus a lot of Bulls fans are going to underrate him because of that.
And it's not replaceable, realistically.
Yeah.
There's really nobody on this team. Like, we could say Patrick Williams, whatever it is. Patrick Williams does not attack on defense at the point of attack that Alex Caruso does because he's too big. He can use his length. It's different. But getting into that body is going to change somebody. That's going to change how you attack that. That's a crazy way to say that. That's going to change how you attack
that body.
Hey, getting into that body will change you, bro.
Yeah, that's accurate. That's definitely accurate.
Listen.
Wow. It's time to end the video, bro.
Follow us on everything at Locked On Bulls. You can follow me on everything at Pat The Designer. Watch your body.
Oh, man, that is hilarious. You guys can follow me at CEO Haize, CEO Haize, man. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Locked On Bulls. Me and Pat will be back tomorrow again with more craziness and foolishness and Bulls news. We'll see which one comes first in the docket on that one, man. We did every episode, man. Peace, y'all.
Peace. That's crazy.